Hi, I'm Dr. Jim.
And I'm Dr. Janine.
We're here at Doctor's Nutrition, and we want to thank you for joining us. We've got a really hot topic we want to talk about. It's something that we deal with, every day.
Right.
And it's osteoporosis.
Yeah, it's an article that just came out from the University of Colorado, a published article that was published in May 7th. And it was talking about osteoporosis and the effect that your sleep and circadian rhythms have on bone density.
Right.
Thought it was real interesting. And one of the things that, people have said forever is, really the time you need to pay attention to your bone density. Yes, you don't want to lose it. And when you're get older, you want to pay attention to it. But it's in your 20s and 30s when you really need to be looking at your bone density and doing stuff to help it. What this article looked at was how sleep patterns affected bone density. And they know that the peak bone density in women is in the early 20s and the same in men. Mm-hmm. Now, men have better bone density than women anyway.
Because of that testosterone.
Exactly. So what they did was they took older people and younger people and they did a study and they disrupted their sleep. They made it to where they didn't know the time of the day. It was in a lab, so it was a completely controlled environment. And they threw them off where they didn't get enough sleep, didn't have good circadian rhythms. And what they found was the bone density was definitely affected. They tested the bone, some of the bone markers, and they knew that it was affected, and it was affected more in the young people. Mm-hmm. So the young people is when you're building your bone density. Okay, so you build your max peak bone density. Then, as you age and after you go through menopause, especially these women, that's when you lose bone density. So if you don't have a high, good peak bone density to start with, you're going to actually have worse bone loss as you age. So this study is showing how important it is to get your good sleep, not throw off your circadian rhythm when you're in your 20s or in older. But they actually showed in women in their early years, the sleep patterns affected bone density more than any other time.
Right. Even though, And that's kind of interesting because, if you think about it, most people in their 20s nowadays.
That's when they don't sleep.
That's when they don't sleep. They're in school or college or whatever. And, it's just a nightmare. So everybody's kind of going through that. And we're seeing a rash. We see, probably every day, at least 4 or 5 people come in, mostly women, dealing with, they've just had their DEXA scan done. And all of a sudden they've got osteopenia or osteoporosis. And they're in their 50s, 60s, maybe even 70.
Yeah.
And then that's a real challenge to them now because once you get to that age group and you start losing bone density, and now it's a lot harder to turn that around than it is when, say, you're 20 or 30.
Right.
But even if you do that at, say, 50 or 60 or 70, you can still do something about it.
There's still things you can do about it, but it does make a good point that you really got to start paying attention to it young. That's why when we see a lot of the people that come in, we do a lot of lab work, and everybody's vitamin D is low. Honestly, it's amazing how many people have low vitamin D. And then even people that are taking D, they're taking D alone. They're not taking D with K2.
And K2 is really important.
It is essential for bone density.
Right.
So I always tell them, I don't care if you're 20, you need to be taking K2 with your D because you're wanting to build that peak bone density. You want it to be as high as possible. Yeah. Because the higher it is, when it falls a little bit, you'd still be okay. If it's low to start with and then it falls, you're not okay. And then you can definitely increase your risk of fracture.
Right.
So it does play a role what you do in your 20s and 30s and even 40s. It does from then on, but it's not like you want to start worrying about bone loss after you have it. Well, that's what people, again, are real likely to do.
Yeah. And that's typically the case. They'll come in with this little piece of paper, and it's their DEXA scan and the results. And they're going to tell us, like, I just had this done, and I've got osteoporosis. Okay, you probably had that coming on for, say, 20 or 30 years, but now somebody actually did the test. I think it's a really good idea to start doing the test, DEXA test, probably in that 30s, 40s, 50s.
I do. I think and of course your insurance company might not pay for it when you're younger, but there are places opening. No, there's places opening a place not far from where we are, about an hour away, and it's for women, and they'll do a cash DEXA scan for $75. So look around, see what's out there for you, because if you know you have a problem, you're going to start doing more things. You're going to start doing the weight-bearing exercise. You're going to start not laying on the couch quite as much. You are going to start maybe eating better, making sure you're getting your K2, making sure your D levels are optimal. There's a lot of different things that you can do.
It sure is. And, when you start talking about that DEXA scan, if you do that, and look around in your area, like say in our area, for $75 or $100, you can get it done. And I think it's well worth to do that. Your deductible would be more than that probably. But so just go ahead and get it done. And that way you've got the information, because if you know in your 40s or 30s or 40s, you know that, okay, I'm starting to lose a little bit of bone density. I haven't got osteopenia yet. I haven't got osteoporosis, but I'm starting to lose a little bit of bone density. Now's the time to start really working on that, on regaining that bone density. And because, once you're in that, negative 2.5 or greater, which is osteoporosis, now you got your work cut out for you. And typically speaking, those people that have that osteoporosis thing, when they come in, they don't want to, I tell them, you don't want to hear what I'm going to tell you, because you're going to have to start changing your diet. You're going to have to take these nutrients, and you're going to have to start doing some weight-bearing exercises. And these little old ladies, bless their hearts, say, oh my God, I've got to go to the gym. Well, didn't say you have to go to the gym, but we do have to do some weight-bearing exercises. And there's some really good ways to do that, actually. We use a weight vest, or suggest a weight vest for people a lot, where they can put the vest on, put weight in it, and that way as they do their daily, what you call activities of daily living, they can actually be doing some weight-bearing exercise. Yep. Great little concept, helps a lot of these people. But the nutrients are vitally
Nutrients
important.
are essential. And a lot of people, it's not just calcium. That's actually, for years, that's what doctors would tell people is, take your calcium. I mean, you don't want calcium deficiency, but you really need a lot of trace minerals. So you need a lot of the trace minerals. We will use a calcium that's actually has all the trace minerals in it. It's the microcrystalline hydroxyapatite, which is got all your trace minerals, and it is what bone is made of. So we do use a product called Bone Builder, and that can be used. We use something called ostenol that stimulates osteoblastic activity. So it actually tells the body to increase bone density. And like I said, K2 is essential, but weight-bearing exercise is absolutely essential.
Right.
And then I tell people, you always want to start looking. If you start getting a bone loss, start looking at your medications. A lot of medications on the market decrease bone density. A lot of your acid reducers decrease bone density. A lot of your corticosteroid shots, pills, whatever, they decrease bone density. So you really got to look at that at a young age. And, people start taking something for one reason and think that it's not affecting anything else. It is. So that's one reason you take a full look at the whole body. You want to look whole body. You don't want to just look at one area.
I think that steroid thing is something that's drastically overlooked. We see a lot of people come in, and you look on their history, and when you start talking about their medical history, they constantly are having an antibiotic and steroids. They do that like I have to do that every year because of my allergies or because I have sinusitis or whatever. And they're doing this every year. Every year you're doing something that's damaging that bone density. That cascade of events that have to happen in certain sequence to form that bone, you're actually doing something to block that. That's not a good thing. So if you're having that kind of problem, start fixing that. That's right. Like she said, let's look at the whole body.
Look at the whole body.
Look at everything.
Get overall healthy.
Right.
And just kind of be conscious that, you're going to be real upset when you get older and you have bone loss, and you could have done something about it when you're young.
Yeah. Again, that's when they come in saying, gee, I don't want to have to go to the gym 3 times a day. Well, okay. Well, this is what you're going to do. You can do something about it now and not have to go to the gym. So, to take care of that and look at the whole body concept. And like say, certain nutrients, the D and the K2 are more important really than calcium. You'll get enough calcium in your diet 99% of the time.
Some people.
Most people.
We do supplement in some people. Well, it depends on the person.
There are some people who just eat such a crappy diet that, and if you do, we really need to change that. But if they don't get enough calcium, that's probably because they just really are sad diet. And so we need to change a few things there, get you a little calcium in your diet. But then you have to be able to use it. And that's where the D, the K2 come in. So real important to get those nutrients right for you for that. So Hopefully this helped a little bit.
Hopefully you learn how to prevent some bone loss and help bone loss if you have it.
Right.
And it's never too late, but it's always better to start early.
That's very true. So you can now live healthy and be healthy. And thank you for joining us. I'm Dr. Fox, and I want to thank you for watching this YouTube video. Be sure and hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell so you'll be notified on any upcoming videos that we have coming up. And thank you again for watching our YouTube videos.